So welcome to today's practice. For our practice today, it will be really helpful if you have a block. If you don't have a block, just grab yourself maybe a cushion or a big book that you can slip beneath your hips in preparation for hero pose. And we'll actually get started in hero pose. So grabbing your block or your book, just start off by sitting on top of the block, the book, or the cushion so your hips are elevated. Tucking the tops of your feet in snugly beside the hips, placing your hands to the top of your thighs, and sitting nice and tall. Begin to ground into your sitting bones. Feel as if you're recreating that beautiful natural curve in your lower back. Lift your heart, allow the shoulders to soften. And now slide your chin back to align your ears directly over your shoulders. Close your eyes. And just begin to observe your breath as it flows in its natural, relaxed rhythm. So often in this vinyasa flow style of yoga, we move so quickly through the practice that you barely get to experience each posture in itself. So as we flow nice and slowly in this practice today, really allow yourself to arrive fully in each pose, to experience each pose to the fullest. Noticing how your body feels in each posture physically, and also noticing how you react mentally to how you feel physically in each posture. Staying simultaneously aware of body and breath. And just noticing how your mind reacts to being put in some potentially somewhat uncomfortable positions. So as we arrive here in this supported variation of hero, just acknowledge where you're feeling the sensations in your body. Where are you feeling limited in this posture? Perhaps through the ankles, the knees, maybe even the hips, or maybe all three areas. Keeping your eyes closed, begin to deepen your breath. And now to initiate your Ujjayi breath, create a slight restriction in the back of your throat, allowing your breath to become audible both on the inhalation and the exhalation, creating one continuous sound as you breathe. Take a few moments to settle into this breath. Now staying entirely focused on your breath, open your eyes. And just rise up onto your knees here, slipping the block out from beneath your hips. Plant your palms to the floor in front of you, tuck your toes under, and float your hips into your first downward dog of the day. Now just bending one knee into the next, pedaling the heels up and down. Working all of the kinks and cracks out of the ankles and the knees. Feeling out the length of the hamstrings, the flexibility in the calf muscles and the arches of the feet. And now gradually begin to lengthen through both legs, shifting your weight to your left foot. Lift the right leg as high as you can behind you. Bend your knee and allow your heel to roll over your left hip. Work towards keeping that supporting leg strong and straight with the foot parallel to the long edge of your mat. Lift the right knee a little bit higher still. Extend your leg back out behind you, lower your foot to the ground, and now switch sides, lifting the left leg high, bend your knee, let your heel roll over your right hip. Arms stay long and strong. Lift the left knee just a little bit higher still, and now gaze forward to step your left foot all the way forward between your hands, ankle beneath the knee. Step your right foot forward to join the left. Keep the knees soft if you need to, hands down. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms overhead. As you exhale, draw your palms to your heart. Inhale, extend your arms, lift your gaze. As you exhale, fold forward. Hands down, heart lifts. Exhale, palms to the ground, step back into upward plank and hold it here for a few big breaths. Connect with your core strength. If this is too much of a challenge, drop your knees to the ground. Keeping your gaze forward, elbows tucked in, lower your body with control. Hover here if you can. Point the toes and either rise into little cobra with soft elbows or straighten the arms and lift the knees into full upward dog. Exhale, lift your hips, roll over your toes, settling back into downward facing dog. Now dropping back down onto all fours, point the toes, and this time sit all the way up onto your heels, letting your hands rest at the top of your thighs. Let the entire weight of your body settle down onto the heels. If you're looking for a deeper stretch through the ankles and the shins, place your fingertips to the floor behind your hips, soften into the elbows, and begin to lift the knees just as high as you comfortably can. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Head level. If you've chosen to lift your knees here, place your knees back to the mat. Plant your palms back to the floor in front of you, and now tuck the toes under to return to downward facing dog for 5 big breaths. Feeling the circulation flow back into the feet, back into the toes. Take a moment here to reconnect with your breath. Take one more deep breath in, and at the bottom of your next breath, gaze forward to step or hop between your hands. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms overhead. As you exhale, palms to heart. Inhale, extend your arms, lift your gaze. As you exhale, fold forward. Hands down, heart lifts. Exhale, palms to the ground, step back into upper plank. Again, drop the knees if you need to. Lower to hover, elbows tucked in. Point the toes, inhale, rising upward. Exhale, lift the hips, roll over the toes, back into downward facing dog. Now this time, walk your hands to your toes, moving to a forward fold at the back of your mat. When you get there, clasp your elbows and just let your upper body hang nice and heavily over your thighs. Neck is relaxed. Weight is forward toward the balls of your feet. Eyes are open, focused on your drishti, just past the tip of your nose. Now release your elbows, draw your hands to your hips, and slowly roll up to a standing position. Release your arms to your sides. Place your left hand to your left hip, and now shifting your weight to your left foot, catch the top of your right foot with your right hand. And just pause here, find your balance, set your drishti. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Draw the heel in as closely as you can toward the hip. And now to bring the stretch a little more deeply into your hip flexors and your thigh muscles, scoop the tailbone under as if you're pressing the hips forward. Keep your breath steady, breath audible. Relax your toes on your standing foot. And now releasing that right foot, place your right foot to the floor, hip width apart from the left, release the arms, and switch sides, right hand to right hip. Shifting your weight to your right foot, catch the top of the left foot with your left hand, drawing that heel in toward the hip, squeezing the knees and the inner thighs together. And then finally, scooping the tailbone under, pressing the hips forward, feeling the stretch intensify through the hip flexors. Now releasing your foot, place your left foot to the floor, hip width apart from the right, release the arms. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. As you exhale, fold forward. Walk your hands forward, returning to downward dog. And now take your full 5 deep breaths. Now think of downward dog as a place to rest, a place to reconnect with your breath. Take one more deep breath in, and at the bottom of your next breath, gaze forward to step or hop between your hands. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms overhead. As you exhale, palms to heart. Inhale, extend your arms, lift your gaze. Exhale, fold forward. Hands down, heart lifts. Exhale, palms to the floor, step or hop into high plank. Continue with the rhythm of your own breath. We'll all meet in downward dog. Letting your breath be your guide. Now with the bottom of your next breath, step your right foot forward, ankle directly beneath the knee. Staying on the ball of the left foot, sweep your arms into crescent lunge. Take a moment here, find your balance. Tuck the left heel forward slightly to align your heel over the ball of your foot. Perhaps lifting your gaze if it's comfortable for your neck. Perhaps reaching a little further up and a little further back to deepen the arch through your spine. Taking full breaths into that wide open chest. Take one more deep breath in, draw your head to center, floating forward into needle pose. Place your fingertips to the floor right in front of your toes on your right foot. If you know you have tight hamstrings, slip the block beneath your fingertips. Sending your weight forward towards your right foot, bow deeply over your right thigh, lifting the left leg as high as you can behind you. Neck stays relaxed. Now really work towards straightening that supporting leg. Take one more deep breath in, soften into the right knee, take a big step back with your left foot. This time, drop the left heel and sweep the arms into Warrior One. Lots of length through that back leg. And just for a breath or two, sweep the left arm forward as you attempt to square your shoulders toward the top edge of your mat. Re-extend that left arm, again lifting the gaze only if it's comfortable. Take one more full breath in, draw your head to center, and now open the arms wide into Warrior Two. Aligning your arms with the long edge of your mat, gazing forward over the middle finger on your right hand, resisting the urge to straighten that right leg, knowing that the moment that you do straighten that leg, all of those sensations will dissipate. Now slowly straighten that right leg. Draw the thigh muscles up tightly, take a big reach forward, tip into triangle, stacking your shoulders over your right thigh. Turning your gaze toward your higher hand, lengthening through both sides of your upper body. Now placing your left hand to your left hip, turn your gaze to your big toe on your right foot. Preparing to float forward into half moon, bend your right knee. Place your right hand to the floor or the block beneath your right shoulder. Send your weight forward into your right foot, and then the left leg extends to hip level behind you. Flex that left foot in toward the knee, ankle strong. Perhaps the left arm reaches to the sky. Perhaps your gaze shifts toward your higher hand. Imagine that you're leaning up against an imaginary wall behind you, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders. Take one more full breath in. Lower the left hand to the floor to join the right. And now step your left foot forward, hip width apart from the right. Straighten your legs. Allow your hands to rest to shins, ankles, or around the big toes if you can reach. As you inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward. Keep your weight forward toward the balls of your feet. And as your neck relaxes, feel the shoulders extend up toward the hips. Feel your neck grow a little bit longer. Keeping the breath steady, the breath audible. Visualize breathing length from your sitting bones right into your heels. Now keeping your hands where they are as you inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward, plant your palms to the floor, step the feet back into upper plank, and take a nice slow vinyasa. Inhale, rising upward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Switching sides at the bottom of your next breath, stepping the left foot forward. Stay on the ball of the right foot. Sweep the arms back into crescent lunge. As we did on the opposite side, drawing that right heel forward to align the heel over the ball of the foot. Sinking deeply into that left knee, perhaps lifting your gaze, maybe reaching a little further back. The straighter the back leg, the deeper the stretch through the front of that right hip and thigh. Take one more big breath in, needle pose, fingertips to the floor or the block in front of your toes on your left foot. Send the right leg high behind you. Fold deeply over your left leg. Let your neck relax. And really work towards keeping that standing leg straight and strong. Take one more big breath in. Bend the left knee, take a big step back with the right foot. Drop the heel, re-extend the arms, warrior one. And just for a few breaths, sweep that right arm forward, square the shoulders toward the top edge of your mat. Re-extend the arm. If you're lifting your gaze here, keeping length and strength through the back of the neck. Take one more full breath in, head to center, arms extend wide, warrior two. Tucking the lower belly inward. Steady gaze, steady breath. And now slowly straighten the left leg. Take a big reach forward and tip back into your lengthy triangle, long through the spine as you tip forward, gazing toward your right hand. Thigh muscles drawn up nice and tightly, grounding into the mound at the base of the big toe on that left foot. Placing your right hand to your right hip, turn your gaze to your big toe on your left foot, bend your left knee, place your left hand to the floor or the block beneath your shoulder, and now extend that right leg behind you to hip level. Flex the foot in toward the knee, ankle strong. Either hold it here, hand to hip, or extend the right arm to the ceiling. Perhaps lifting your gaze toward that higher hand. Take one more full breath in. Lower the right hand to the floor to join the left. Step your right foot forward, hip width apart from the left. Soften into your knees and now slip your hands fully beneath your feet to walk your toes right up to the crease on each wrist. You want your whole hand beneath the sole of each foot. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward. Let your neck relax, and now once your hands are beneath the feet, You can straighten your legs as far as the hamstrings will allow. Most importantly, this posture is about your wrists. Now softening back into your knees, slide your hands out from beneath your feet, plant your palms to the floor, and just step back into downward facing dog. Feel all that length you've created through the hamstrings. Dropping your knees to the floor, coming down onto all fours, point the toes, moving into full hero pose this time, grabbing your block if you need it. So as we did at the beginning of the practice, either sitting directly on top of the block, perhaps lowering your hips to the ground in between your heels. Again, the tops of the feet are tucked snugly beside the hips, hands to the top of the thighs, grounding into the sitting bones so you're not collapsing through the lower back. Close your eyes. Squeeze the knees, the inner thighs together. Tuck the chin back, draw the ears over the shoulders, and feel the back of your neck lengthen. Identify primarily where you're feeling the stretch, and then direct your breath into those sensations. Simultaneously aware of body and breath. Planting your palms to the floor in front of you, roll forward onto all fours. If you were sitting on the block, slip the block out from beneath the hips. Sit directly on top of your knees this time. Sit nice and tall. Shift your hips over to the right, sliding the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh, tucking the top of the left foot snugly beside the left hip. Taking a twist to the right, place your right hand behind your right hip, left hand to right knee. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to gaze over your right shoulder. Allow your weight to collapse fully into your right palm. Extend the left arm to the ceiling. Either hold it here with your hips to the ground or rise up onto both knees. Press the hips forward. Left arm drops back, head falls back. Strong through your supporting arm. The further forward you press the hips, the deeper the stretch through those hip flexors. Take one more full breath in. Gently lower your hips to the ground. Place your palms to the floor now in front of your right ankle and fold forward. Just as far as that right hip will allow. Perhaps resting on the forearms, maybe even walking your fingertips all the way forward to rest your forehead to the ground. We're really isolating the stretch here through that right hip. Now if you're all the way down, lifting your forehead from the floor, walking your hands in towards you just slightly to move into a variation of Wheel of Life pose. You'll begin to walk your upper body and your arms all the way over to the right. So your fingertips are reaching toward that right hand wall and you're drawing your lower belly right over top of your right thigh. Now you can either drop down onto the forearms. You might be able to rest your forehead to the floor to extend the arms fully forward, but extend particularly long through that left arm and encourage the left shoulder to drop. Now, if you're all the way down with your forehead to the floor, extend your right arm out to the side. And as you press firmly into that right palm, you'll encourage the left shoulder to drop. You might even turn your left ear to the floor to gaze toward your right hand. Breathe deeply into the pressure of that right knee and thigh. Breathe fully into the twist. Now, if you've chosen to turn your left ear to the floor, draw your forehead back to the floor. Re-extend the right arm forward to join the left. And now walk both hands toward the top edge of your mat. And then simply step back from here into downward dog. Take a few big breaths. Stretch out the knees. Dropping back down onto all fours again, point the toes, sit all the way up onto your heels. And now switching sides, shifting your hips to the left this time. Slide the sole of the left foot to the right inner thigh. Tuck the top of the right foot snugly beside the right hip. Beginning with a twist to the left hand behind your left hip, right hand to left knee. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to look over your left shoulder. Allow your weight to collapse fully into your left palm. Extend your right arm to the ceiling. Either hold it here or rise up onto the knees. Press the hips forward. Let that right arm drop back. Let the head fall back. Nice and strong through your supporting arm. Wrist directly beneath the shoulder so you're well supported. If you've chosen to lift the hips, gently lower. Place your palms to the floor in front of your left ankle and now fold over your left shin. Again, just as far as that left hip will allow. Notice how differently you might feel these postures from one hip to the other. Now begin to walk your entire upper body around to the left, reaching your arms toward the left hand wall. And again, with the option of either resting here on the forearms or extending the arms fully forward to bring your forehead to the ground. Now sweep the left arm to the side, so your left hand is reaching toward the back edge of your mat. You might even turn your right ear to the ground to complete the spiral through your spine. Press really firmly into that right hand to encourage, into the left hand to encourage that right shoulder to drop. Breathe a little more fully into the pressure of that left thigh. And for these last few breaths, press just a little more firmly into that left palm, deepening the twist. Nice deep stretch through the lats along the right side of the upper body. If you've turned your right ear to the ground, draw your forehead back to the floor. Extend the left arm forward to join the right. And now walk both hands all the way forward toward the top edge of your mat again. Slowly ease your way back into downward dog, stepping the feet back one at a time. Taking a few big breaths here again to stretch out the knees. And now inhaling forward into upper plank, elbows tucked in, lowering all the way down onto your belly. And then gently rolling over onto your back. Once you've rolled over, give your knees a nice tight squeeze to your chest. Extending your right arm out to the side, palm down. Turn your gaze to the right. Place your left hand to the outside of your right thigh to draw both knees over to the left. Try to stack the right knee on top of the left. Stack the big toes, stack the ankles and the heels. Perhaps tucking the knees a little higher up towards your chest. Staying grounded through that right shoulder. Now drawing your head back to center, being gentle with your lower back. Draw the right knee back first, then the left. Give your knees a nice tight squeeze. Extend the left arm to the side, palm down, right hand to the outside of the left thigh to guide both knees all the way over to the right. And stacking the big toes, stacking the heels, the knees, the inner thighs. Perhaps tucking the knees a little higher up towards your chest. Imagine both sitting bones reaching toward that back edge of your mat. Deep breaths. Now drawing your head back to center, draw the top knee back first, then the bottom. Give both knees one last hug. As long as it's comfortable for your neck, lift your head from the floor. Tuck your forehead to your knees to curl yourself up into a tight little ball. And now lower your head to the floor. Release your shins, lower your feet to the floor. Extend your legs fully down onto your mat for our final posture. Allowing your arms to rest fully at your sides, palms open to the ceiling. Take a deep breath in through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. Once more, big breath in through the nose, empty through the mouth. And now watch your breath as it returns to its natural, relaxed rhythm. Notice the particulars of this very moment. Notice the sensations in your body as a result of your practice. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel the cool air flowing in through the nostrils, filling the lungs with each breath in. Feel the air warmed by the lungs, flowing out of the nostrils, fully emptying. This moment is the only moment that you know you have for sure. Feel free to linger here in Shavasana for as long as you like. Otherwise, slowly begin to resurface. Feel the slightest movement arise through your fingers and toes. Extend your arms out overhead for a full body stretch. Reach from end to end. Bend your knees, draw your feet to the floor, and now roll softly to your right side, all the way onto your right shoulder, head to your upper right arm. And now ease your way from here to a seated cross-legged position. Drawing your hands to your heart, opening our eyes to each other. Namaste. So thank you for joining today. If you're enjoying my classes, please subscribe. And if you'd like to donate, there's a little PayPal button just to the right of Mount Rundle on the main page of my YouTube channel where you can donate. Thank you for your practice.